I would like to briefly welcome all of you. My dear students, fellow colleagues, professionals, all over from various places, whoever joining with us now with this very special guest of ours, I would say also mine. And why I said that, because I have truly tremendous high regards to this gentleman, Mr. Raj Kapur, who is having 30 plus years of experience leading not-for-profit organization in US. And he's the executive director of John Maxwell team. All of you know that John Maxwell is the number one leadership guru in the world, is the number one who has brought into the thousands of certified professional trainers, speaker, and coaches from all over the world. I think it's about 200 countries all over the world. We have 20,000 plus minus the professional trainers, speaker, and coaches. And Mr. Raj Kapur is the founding member, one of the founding member of John Maxwell team. He's the executive director. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends, fellow colleagues and students, please help me to have a warm welcome to Mr. Raj Kapur into us. Thank you for joining, Raj. So I appreciate your time and effort and your dedication to us. Welcome to the
Kamrul,
program.
thank you. It's been a pleasure to be here. I would be nowhere else but here today. That's what I would tell you very clearly. Kamrul has been a really great friend, and we met last year. And it was just amazing at the success, Kamrul, that you have gone through and the way you are working on it. It's amazing. And I commend you for that. And I commend everyone who is here that you have taken time today to be a part of it. Because you could be sitting right now and watching your television, you could be watching some movies or shows, or you could be with family, but you actually decided to be here and invest in yourself. Well, that's huge. And I thank Kamru for actually bringing me here. So, just to give you a little bit of a little brief about myself,
Please.
Kamru just actually went overboard with my introduction. Thank you for that. But I worked with the nonprofit organizations for over 30 years as a chief financial officer and got into a place where I was able to make major changes to the financials for the nonprofit so they could operate really well and do what the work they do. But with that, I always had businesses on the side. And that always was my passion of being an entrepreneur. And from long time since I have been here in United States, I came in actually 1987 here from India, and since that time, I have been here and gone through major ups and downs. And that is what life is. And so that's what we are going to talk about, embracing change. But just to tell you that there are multiple things you can do. You're not stuck to one thing. Remember that. And you should not be. You should never be. Because sometimes what happens is we just go through one lane. But if you open your mind up and you go through and take a look what your passion is, and how can you get to that passion, how can you make that passion true, it actually becomes very rewarding. And many times the opportunities may not let you go for your passion. And that is why I was working and I had my businesses on the side, which I kept on developing to the point where I'll tell you things do work. Because one of the businesses that I opened up from shoestring, meaning to say with bare bone budget, actually resulted in over $1 million of sales few years in a row. So if you are patient, if you're persistent, and if you go with your dreams, then definitely things can work out. But you need to make sure that you embrace change. So today what we are going to talk about is two things. First is change. Because right now, as we are going through life, you see that major changes coming in. Huge. It is just a different world in a few months. Nobody expected this, but it is there. And it is going to remain there. Okay. Now, many of the things I told you were not to impress you. It was to impress upon you that if you do embrace the change, things will change for you. And it is really, really important to understand. Once we talk about change, then we are going to go over a few laws of money. Not I have a whole course and a program called
Mm.
Guidance to Wealth, on which I take people on a full journey of 8 weeks through all the laws of money and all the aspects. Over here, we are going to briefly discuss few, which I definitely believe at the juncture where you are right now is going to really help you and move you forward.
Absolutely. 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 Just to interrupt, just to let everybody knows that mm, tonight, I think two most important topic of our current time. One is the change, that we see now, that we understand, that we also go through. So I think uh, we haven't experienced in our lifetime such a change. Not myself, I'm sure many of us haven't. Definitely, Raj, you have gone through the changes, over the last 30, 40 years, in your lifetime, professionally, personally, organization wise. But for us, I think for us, like we're kids, university kids are here, right? So it is for them very important to understand and how we could adopt. I'm talking to everybody. Hello and welcome you, everybody watching right now on Facebook and with us in the Zoom session. Just wait a bit and fasten your seatbelt. This is number one for the change. And hang on, the number two is the wealth. That is how you generate revenue. That is the lifeline. That is the blood. That is the our bread and butter. So Raj is bringing the 30 years of experience, as you know, and he has a mastermind program of 8 weeks. We'll talk about it later on. But he's going to bring the laws of money. All of you need to know right at this moment, because how would you generate revenue out of your passion, skills, professions? That's gonna be tonight. You ask, bring a pen and paper and ask and jot down all the questions. Over to you, Raj, for uninterrupted session. Take it through.
That's fine, Kamrul. You are very welcome to interrupt anytime where you feel you can add value in it. I would more than welcome that. Anything that you feel can help uh, the group, I'm here for that. My main aim today is to add value to you and nothing else. That's the bottom line. If I can be of little help and make a little change in your life, that would be very gratifying for me. So, starting with that, let me talk about see, we as human beings cannot live without a challenge. For us, growth is important. If we don't grow, we die. You see, life is abundant. If you see, nature is growing, it is not dying. Whenever fall comes in, everything goes down, but next year back, it's regenerated. And what doesn't grow actually die. Same thing is very true for all of us. We cannot live without meaning. Our life has to have a meaning. But you know what? There are so many people in the world who are going through a life which is mundane, day to day, same thing, because they have gotten into the rut of it because the life kicks in. And once the life kicks in, you feel that you have no option. The problem that happens is that we do not embrace change. We resist change. That is a but natural mentality of human beings is to resist change. There are very few people actually who love change. Okay, very few. But people who do love change and move with the flow of change definitely make a huge difference. Now, for me, I resisted change for a long time until I figured out that if I become complacent, there's nothing I will be able to do in my life. And then one of the biggest regrets most people have on their deathbed is that I could have done that, I should have done that, but it's too late. Now, you people being young, you have that zeal, you have that zest. So move forward with it. Think of the change and embrace it. Given the current situation, we are hunkered down, locked down. And most of the people are thinking that their mindset and everything is being closed in. Well, not true. It depends on how you start thinking and how you start to change. As I said, we are born to grow. Most of the people grow older because that is without effort. Okay. It takes effort to grow old and be wise and make a meaningful life. So, this new norm that you are seeing, this new norm is what got all of us together. Think about it. If right now things were normal, would we be here together like this? I doubt it very much if it would be like this, because all of you are hunkered in, but you are investing in yourself and you are here to make a change in yourself. So, see, there are benefits too. Now, if you take a look at the history, change is imminent. Change has always happened. You go back 100 years, you take a look, things are completely different. You cannot even live a life like they used to live 100 years ago. It's completely changed. Now, people who embrace change, they went with it and they worked with it and they made it into something which became not only profitable for them, but also advantageous for those. So make sure that in life you do not have regrets. And the only way to do it is by embracing what's going on. Few things to understand. Change happens. This time, change is drastic, literally, for everybody in the world. The world will be very different even after the coronavirus, the COVID 19 thing has gone down, or let's say new things will be coming in. If you are feeling that there will be one day when you can switch the light bulb like and put it off or on, that's not going to happen. Many people still believe that might happen. It won't happen because right now I was reading something yesterday which was so funny. One of my friends wrote, he said, now gone are the days when you blew the candles on the cake for a birthday and everybody ate that. Think about it. If you blow the candles right now, who is going to eat that cake? I doubt very much if you would be trying to get that piece of cake where somebody has blown on the candles. So that things are going to remain in our mind for a very long time. We are going to be very careful with most of the things because so many deaths have happened across the world that things will be different. So as I said, change happens. Example, very quick. In United States, I remember when I came here, we had big cars, guzzling a lot of gas and everything. At that time, few years into it, I remember there was this discussion going on. What happens when the fuel reserves are gone? The whole world would come to a standstill. The whole economy will be dead. This will happen, that will happen. Major discussions on TV, this and that. Take a look now with the electric cars. See, the whole world is changing right there and then. Nobody at that time thought 15 years ago that there would be electric cars coming in, which would actually take over. But the people who thought out of the box did think that, and these things have been going on for ages. And right now, when you go out and take a look, a car is going on the road, which doesn't need to go into a mechanic shop, which doesn't need any gasoline. You just go there, and there are charging stations from electricity. You buy a car, and then, except few things, it is maintenance free. So, second thing, anticipate change. Because many times when you do not anticipate change, you can become extinct. Very important to understand. You can become extinct because that is how important change is in life. Main thing is don't cry. Don't overanalyze things when change happens. Many times I hear people say, it's not fair. Let me tell you one thing very clearly. After going through life for so many years, life is not fair. If you feel that your life should be fair for you, I'm sorry. You are going to run into major obstacles. I was in my younger days always at this point. I did all this right. This is not fair. Until my dad one day came and sat with me and told me, he said, life is not fair. Just believe that and start working in that way. Do your best that you can, but do not believe that life will be fair. Some people will be given a different hand and some people will be given a different. But your time will come. And it did. And it did. And so things work out in the manner as they have been laid out. But main thing is anticipate change and move quickly with the change. Okay? Because if things are changing around you, you should change. Find new opportunities. See what's going on. Even if you look right now with the advent of this new aspect of internet, IT, and everything, there are many jobs which were there like 7, 8 years ago, which have completely been eliminated. Completely been eliminated. And right now, I'm telling you, there will be so many more jobs that will be eliminated because we are relying so much on technology right now. So you talk about change. I'm sitting here in Alexandria, Virginia. That means I am, let's say, 15 miles from the White House right now. Okay, that's where I am right now. And from here, I am able to reach to you and talk to you and even tell you what's going on here. You can tell me what's going on there. Isn't that amazing? I think that is for the better, not the worse. Many people who I know, because I am on board of nonprofits, and some of the people I know are working with United Nations on many different things. And they are busy. Some of the people are saying they are zoomed out, actually. That's the word I'm hearing because of so many Zoom meetings. But they are being more productive right now. They are having more productivity because they used to travel to Switzerland, to Geneva for meetings, but they were so busy that they couldn't do it. And they said they missed it so much. Now it's online. They're not missing anything. They're able to see all the people hear all the things that they need to hear, not secondhand, but firsthand. That's amazing. If you embrace change, that's what happens. So many people I know in jobs who resisted this change, literally resisted this change of finding how to go online, uh, do the thing through Zoom. Oh, I'm too old for this. I can't do it. I don't understand IT. You know what? All of those people, all of those people are online because it has forced them to learn these new things. Force them. Otherwise, they will not have a job, maybe. Otherwise, they will be sitting inside doing nothing. So things change, as I said, and embrace change. Otherwise, you will be left behind. Third thing that you need to definitely take a look at is you need to monitor change. As you're going through life, you start figuring out that things may change. Keep an eye open. As I said, adapt to the change quickly. But once you start monitoring change, then what happens is you know what's happening. You see what new technology might be coming in, what can really help you. And if you get into the bandwagon earlier than others, it could be really beneficial and useful for you. Wouldn't it be? Think about it. Those are the things that you don't be comfortable. Don't think it's dangerous out there. Okay. And many times you think, oh man, things are happening. It won't happen. That's where we get into the biggest problem. Things won't happen. Well, believe me, they will. So most people keep on doing the same thing over and over again, over and over again. And they see and think, why things are not changing for me? So after monitoring change, what is the next step? Next step is you need to change. That's where it comes in. You need to change. You need to move with the new options. As I said, things will never be the same. This is life. Life moves on and you need to move with it. That is how important it becomes. As I said again, if you don't change, you can become extinct. You don't want that, do you? I know many people literally. who, from my perspective, are extinct because they are doing the same thing over and over again, living miserable lives because they have conformed to the norm and don't look at anything outside their box. Don't do that. Why would you do that? Life is a challenge. Take it as a challenge. Keep moving with it, and life will give you the rewards that you need. Yes, there will be challenges. Now, think, what would you be able to do if you were not afraid? Because fear is what permeates in us. Fear is what gets into us from taking the next step. Now, that could be another session we can do on fear, because I do a whole session on how fear actually can stop you from doing so many things. But just to tell you quickly, fear stopped me from doing things for a long time. It did happen until and unless I myself went and I said, I'm the one who has to make the change. I will do it even though I am fearful. I will do it. Just move ahead. Do it, even if you are fearful. And once you do it, the fear just dissipates. One of the big things was I wanted to become a speaker for a long time. But as a chief financial officer, I was happy behind the desk and let the other people take the charge of speaking and being in front of people. But there was this desire inside, that there is inside me this thing that needs to come out. But that fear was there. Fear of judgment comes in. What would people think about me? That's the worst fear that you can ever have. And once you get over that fear, then you can move ahead and do whatever you want to do. I did it. One day in front of 400 people, there was some question raised. I got up. Yes, I was scared. Yes, I had butterflies in my stomach. But I went up and I spoke. And you know what? The fear vanished. From then on, it became a little better. But it took time, it took practice to come to a point where right now, if you would be able to give me the podium, I can go in front of hundreds of people and I can talk without having prepared anything, because there is so much experience and things that I have that I can talk about and add value to. But the main thing is to blast through that fear to get to that. And finally, with the change, what I would say, and I would say one thing more. Sometimes fear is good too, because sometimes you can tread on many things just thinking it would be good, which might not be good for you. So fear sometimes gives you that buffer where you get that time to maybe think about it. But the main thing happens again is, don't let fear stop you. And finally, the main thing that comes in is start enjoying the change. Start enjoying the change. Because once you have embraced the change and you have monitored it, anticipated all the things we talked about, if you do not enjoy the change, then everything goes back because you will be in stress all the time. So enjoy the adventure, enjoy life. That's what it is. Whatever life throws at you, take it and enjoy it. What else can you do? Either that, or you could be in anxiety, or you could be complaining all the time. Well, think about it. What is better? Embracing it or not embracing it? So, bottom line comes in of these things, as I said, be ready to change quickly and enjoy it again and again. Okay. Imagine a new life where it would lead you. With all the things going on right now, what is the worst that can happen? Think of that. And once you think of that, then you move ahead. And the fear that tells you things will be so bad, let me tell you, things will never be that bad that your mind makes it to be. It's never that bad. Once you take the step up, things will be hard, no question. Things will be easy for some, hard for some, depending on how things are with you in your life, where you are. But once you keep on moving forward, you will keep on taking the obstacles and pushing them aside. So when you hit a roadblock, what do? That means once you feel stuck, what do you do? At that time, what you need to do, you need to take at the end result. So whenever I develop my goals or anything, I take a step, and this is one of the things I teach in my course on guidance to wealth is going from your comfort zone, and comfort zone is where you are right now, to what your dream zone is. And it's an exercise which you can all do actually for yourself. First, on a sheet of paper, just put in, where am I right now? What is your current situation? And then put in your dream zone. This is what I want to be in next 3, 5, 10 years. Start thinking, because that way you're designing your life. That's what you're doing. Then see the end result. This is where I want to be. That is where whenever you hit a roadblock and you have that vision in mind, this is where I'm going to be, your roadblocks will automatically start breaking, because now you know where you need to end up. It can take less years, it can take more years, but at least you're on the path. Second thing, write down. Write down all your fears. Write them down. These are all the fears. And after writing them down, uh, visualize on what is the worst thing that can happen. And then, as I said, acknowledge the fear, but do it anyway. And on the next side of the fear, write whether it's a rational fear or an irrational fear. Because most of the fears that we have are not rational. Most of the things that we think are that bad never happen. But you know where they happen? They happen in your mind. That's where they happen. They happen in your mind because we keep on analyzing, we keep on thinking, and most of the thoughts for most of the people are negative. And you know what? What you focus on expands. If you're focusing on the negative, what happens? That thing keeps on expanding. A small thing can literally become a mountain in your head. But if you reverse your thinking, that works too. Start focusing on the positives. Start thinking on the outcome. Shift your mindset. Shift your thinking. It is simple. It is not complex, because most of the things in life are simple. They're not exactly complex. But what we do, we make them complex because we feel that life should be difficult. We feel that life should be complex. How could it be so easy? But it depends on how you take a look at things. And the way you look at things, things change in that manner. So, few things. You're lifelong. When you're learning, the learning should be lifelong. The learning doesn't stop. In United States, I think it's a staggering statistic that so many people, I think around 70% or more people, never pick up a book after they have graduated from school or college. I know in our countries it's not like that. But think how awful that is, that you don't want to grow. It has to be lifelong. Enhance your critical skills. That is what is going to lead you forward. Because what happens is, as you get older, your thinking starts getting rigid. Wherever you are right now, at the juncture you are, young guys, young people, young women, young men, this is the time to keep your mind flexible, but keep those goals very visible in your head as to how you need to do. Build new skills, explore new opportunities. You never know when in life things will change, when in life you will be ready. So when an opportunity presents to you, you have to be ready before the opportunity presents to you. Because once a door is open for you and you are not ready for it, it will shut very quickly. But if you're ready to take on an opportunity, the world is for you. The world is for you, my friends. That's how it is. important thing to understand in this world is you definitely need to work on your communication and your people skills. These are two most important things that are going to take you forward in life: communication and people skills. Why? Because that is how you relate to the world. That's how you relate to the world. You work with people, you cannot work in isolation. Whether you are on Facebook, whether you are on Zoom, whether you are in person to person meeting, it's imperative to have good communication and people skills. So if you don't have, or if you are even good at it, keep on improving that. And as you keep on going, and I'm talking all about change now, that's what we are saying, embracing change. So all this is a part of that. Then start spotting opportunities. Recognize change, but be flexible. Flexibility is the key here, because what happens is most of the times goals fail. People fail with goals because they become very rigid with them. What happens is most of the people, their goals are gone in 15 to 20 days of the start of the year. Once I started looking into it as to why, what the reasoning behind it is, one of the things became very clear to me, and that was that those goals become rigid and people make too many goals, which are almost impossible. Your mind says, yes, I can accomplish it, but keep the goals simple, achievable, but make sure that those goals take you out of your comfort zone. If you're going to be at a place where your goals are going to keep you in the realm of your strength, then those goals are not going to help you change. They won't. You have to make sure that you have to step out of your comfort zone where you do start feeling a little uncomfortable, because that is the only way to grow. That's the only way to grow, that you step outside your comfort zone. You see, you have the power. If you want to get your dreams true, what do you need to do? Wake up. Simple as that. Make your dreams true. Wake up. Worst fears will never happen that they control you. They are mostly in your mind. Build confidence, face your problems. Opportunities are always there, but they are always cloaked as obstacles. And when we see those obstacles, we just stop and we don't move forward. But if you start to move forward and obstacles are gone, now, Kamrul, I can say very clearly for you, the way you have gone through, and I have seen your progression from the day we met to where you are moving and going. You have been destroying all your obstacles and keeping on moving forward. Now, I can bet there have been obstacles that came in your life. There is no ifs and or buts about it. But you know what? Say something, Kamrul.
Absolutely, absolutely. If there is not any obstacle on the road or on the journey, there is no satisfaction as well, because then life is, I mean, mundane, as you said in the beginning. Who even likes, the life as usual? Nobody, I think, right? So that's the reason actually we need to have the challenge. But the problem is, when you get challenged, when you get fail, on the obstacle, we say, oh, that's the difficult part. And that's, you talked rightly, the mindset and attitude matters on that, because it is he who can overcome, not he who, everybody fails, everybody, knocked down, but it matters for them who actually get up and starts again doing it. So
Absolutely. Thank you.
spot on.
Thank you. Yeah. No, that is what is the power of thinking and the power of right thinking, because the group that you have created here is adding value to everyone here, and people learn from each other as long as they keep on plugged in, and as long as what you are doing is just amazing and wonderful, and you keep on adding value, people keep on learning. Because what do you learn from? You learn from others' experiences. You do not have to reinvent the wheel. If you learn from me, you will learn from the mistakes I made. I'm learning from the mistakes of my mentors because I don't want to make those mistakes again. They are showing you the path, they are showing you the way that they have gone through it. And if they have gone through it, then you can do it too. It's that clear. Let me tell you a small story here as to how I made myself accountable. I have always been at a point where I always loved reading. And if you see behind me with my shelf, this is full of books, but this keeps on going. And my garage is also full of books and other material because I love to read. I love to take, because books can be your best friend, because from there you can really learn what is in there. And the main thing is when the author has written a book, there was something in their mind. Books can be your best friend, but they should be chosen too as good friends. Not every book is great, but once you go through it, you know what you need to learn and want, and then make it a friend. So I always had this passion of learning and growing. That was always there, over and above my job. Because as a chief financial officer, working with nonprofits, working with federal funds, government funds, state funds in millions of dollars, it's a very stressful job, because managing 20 to 25 budgets at a certain time, managing a whole staff of people for the finance wasn't easy. But with that, I always had that zeal in me that I need to know more, I need to learn more. And that is where I kept on learning things. I went to John Maxwell, uh, got my certification there, became an executive director with John Maxwell team, started learning about wealth. I mean, so there are so many stories I could keep on going and going. But just to tell you how I made it, where it actually made a tipping point for me, where I made it accountable for myself. How did I do that? In 2014, I said, I'm going to read, listen to an audio, or watch a video on self improvement and development every single day. Now, every single time I had tried that, it worked to a point where after a few days, things started getting tough. And I would just like for a few weeks would go away, then come back. This time I said, I need to make a resolution that I want to do it every single day. So what I did was I made it public. I put it on the Facebook to all my friends, to as an email to all my friends, that this is what I'm planning to do. But that still doesn't make you fully accountable, because whether you're doing it or not, how does anybody know? So I said, I'm going to create a website. And I called the website Experiments with Success. And on that website, I said, I'm going to blog anything that I find good that I had read that day. Now that was tough, because sometimes after getting an audit and coming back late night, I would be, man, I don't have time to do this. But you know what? I was getting really good comments on the website. People were following it. And I said, no, I have to do it. So that kept me accountable to the point where in a couple of months, it just became a habit that I wouldn't do without it. And at the end of the year, I will tell you every single day, I did follow through. I did read, watch a video, or listen to an audio, made notes. And out of that, I think I must have blogged over 100 times on different things, on a book that I read, on something, but I did blog it. That is where it just transformed my life, and things started coming in my life. I started attracting the right people. My passions came up. I now knew exactly what I wanted to do. But that was putting myself on the line in front of everybody. Was I afraid? Oh, yeah. But once you make yourself accountable, things are going to change. Because otherwise, what happens? After a few years, you're still the same. I know so many people, as I'm going through my program with the wealth journey, which I told you, I see so many people who had made goals 10 years ago. They're still the same goals, still the same goals that go in every single year. And at the end of the year, they start writing their goals and they are the same goals and they had set 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I mean, you don't want that. You are at a
Raj, just a
yes,
point, just
sure.
to bring, like, it also happens here with us as well, in this part of the world. And as you know, that on the eve of New Year, we start, the New Year resolution. I'm sure whoever listening and watching right now with us, just type yes or no. I think how many times in a new year you put New Year resolution? Maybe the exercise, maybe the diet, maybe the something new that you want to do, and then maybe a month, maybe 2 months, and then gone. I mean, type yes. Those watching in the Facebook, if you agree, if you have fallen into this kind of things, so why it happens and how we can overcome this. So let's talk about this something, because this is common to everybody. We take it as a commitment and then we lose it.
Yes, definitely. Somebody wrote a comment here in the share that they say that I change a lot. I think in new way. I always behave in a new way as I'm another person. And people think I'm a very complicated person. By the way, it always will be happy. You can say, all right, that I tell myself it is all right. I have to go on. Is it all right? Because it gives me pain when all the time they are saying I'm changing.
Hmm.
So, absolutely, one of the biggest problems is that when you are changing and when you're trying to climb that ladder of success and you're trying to grow, there are people who are going to pull you down. This is going to happen. Now, let me be clear. These people have nothing against you. Nothing.
Hmm.
They might be the ones closest to you, closest to you,
Absolutely, absolutely.
but they don't understand your journey. They do not understand where you're going. They try to safeguard you. They try to make sure that you do not fall into a trap, that you do not fall into this, but they don't understand you. If you are solid on what you want to do and you want to change, you need to acknowledge, say yes, but keep on moving forward with what your determination is. Let them say what they want to do because they cannot see your vision. They cannot see where you want to go. That is where most of the change comes in. You know, if you go through the history and you see people who have actually made changes, they were always regarded as people who were crazy or people. I'll just give you one example. I have hundreds of them, but Marconi is the one who created the radio. And when he had created the radio, he told people in his time that he would be able to communicate via waves where they broadcast something and somebody else in the remote part of the world can hear it. Do you know his friends literally, as I've heard, took him or were ready to take him to the insane house? They thought he was crazy. How could anybody communicate over waves? And we are here seeing each other over waves. You're sitting thousands of miles from me and we are having it. But the guy, Marconi, never believed them. And that is why we have what we have here. So do understand, people will oppose you. People will not understand you. But you know what? Once you become what you need to become, they will then accept it. Acceptance is going to come back after a long time. Let me relate a short story to you here, very short. Uh, and this is something which I read, which was very profound. And this is, there is a certain type of a crab which has tendencies like human beings. Okay. So be careful with this thing when you start thinking of what the other person is going to think for me. Okay. First thing that happens is that once a crab trap is lowered in the water, it doesn't have any lid on it, meaning to say that the crab feed is there, the crab can go and eat and come out. but they don't have a lid on it. And somebody asked, why not? And so this is the reason. So crabs go in there, they eat the feed, and once the feed is finished, if one of the crab tries to crawl out of the basket, the other crabs will pull it down, even to the point where they can break its claws because they do not want that person to get out of there. And finally, what happens? They're all on the dinner table for someone. So that is where I tell you, be careful, because there are many people who will do the same thing with you. Same thing. They will try to pull you down. They will make comments. And as I said, don't oppose, don't fight, because you do not want to spend or expend your energies over there. You want to spend your energies on your growth, not on that. So acknowledge it, but keep on doing what you. It doesn't matter what other people think. See, I this is my personal example. Seriously, I used to think a lot, if I do this, what would other people think when I was your age? It's very, very clear. So learn from my experience. There came a point where all this kept on happening, and I kept on thinking and thinking and thinking, man, if I do this, what the other person will think. And finally, it came to a realization where I learned from one of my mentors. Nobody gives a damn about you. I'm sorry. They are thinking about themselves. They have their own problems. They are not going to be sitting there and thinking, what did Raj do by going and joining this course? Why did Raj write this article? They are not thinking. They are thinking about themselves. We are thinking they are thinking about us, because they might have mentioned, oh man, what are you doing? But they are not thinking about you. Your close family members, yes, you need to put them, if you can, you can tell them, this is my vision, this is where I want to grow, this is what I want to do, would you be a part of it? Now if they're wise, they will be able to give you the right decision. But if they have never gone on your path, then there is a possibility there might be opposition. And as I said, don't fight it, go with the flow, but do keep on doing what you need to do.
Can I take a question, Raj,
Yes, please.
from Facebook?
Yes.
Abida Sultana, she just commented, it is difficult for me to adapt with change. When I am in new place, past pulls me very much. Sometimes I am disappointed. At one time, adopt with new place, new things, but it is too late. I lost many things for that. So what should I do?
First thing that you should do is you need to embrace change. That is important. What happens is, it is our mentality that we shun change. We don't agree with change. We try to get at a point where we don't like change. And it becomes difficult for us to adapt to change. The main thing that happens here is, get a mentor who can coach you, who can help you with the change. And I can bet, Kamrul, you as a coach, and you have other people who can coach people on that. Because many times your own mind can put you in that negativity where you will not like change and you will like to resist change. And that is the reason I went over everything about the change today. That if you do need to make a difference in your life, you need to embrace and adapt to change. And as I said, another thing here, I said, do it quickly. Because as you have said in your question, if you do not do it quickly, you would be losing things. You would be left behind. Those things will be happening. Main thing is the mindset. Mindset has to change. Where you say, yes, I'm afraid. Yes, things are happening, but let me see what is the worst that can happen. Go in and try it. But again, get to be a part of a group like you are here. And over here, you will be able to get those answers, because people will be able to guide you with that as to what is going on and how. How is the main thing. Because first thing is why. Why becomes important to you. Because if your why is not that strong, then what happens is you will not do it. The why for you needs to be strong. Okay. And let's take a very quick example here. Okay. If I tell you that there is a plank across two buildings, and you have to cross the plank, and I'll give you $20. You would say, no problem. You'll rush across it because the plank is, let's say, 10 feet long, but it is only a foot wide. It's no problem because you have no fear and you will adapt to get to the other side. But if I say that the same plank is on a 20-story building between two buildings, 1 foot long, and I'll give you $20 to go across it, I would say 99% of the people will say, no, I would not do it. Because why would you risk your life? But what happens is, if your loved one is on the other building and there is a fire there, and you are the only one who can go and save them, you wouldn't even care for $20, would you? Think about it. That is what is needed for your thoughts. Okay? So start reading things, start seeing how the change comes across in life, and start adapting to change. That's the only way you will be able to move forward. Uh, I would say definitely get into and start to take some coaching lessons with Kamrul and his team. They would definitely be able to be of real help to you. Any other question, Kamrul?
Yes, there are questions. Like one comment I want to read for you. Change is difficult, but sooner you accept, you will start feeling better, and that is where you can take it forward. The chance, and surely you need growth mindset as well. That's the comment from Mr. Mahmoudul Haq Taj. Yes, he's talking about you need to have a growth mindset for embracing the change and adopting the change. Absolutely. Absolutely. There are some questions, and one of the other comments coming, that is for the wealth part, business part. I think you can take it after the wealth part, right? So that's the business related questions. And I'm asking questions to everybody as well. Questions to put the question forward to us. Is there any relation between adaptation and dedication? One of the question coming from Facebook, Mr. Masudur Rahim. So that is relation between adaptation and dedication.
Without dedication, nothing can happen. That's the bottom line. Even if you need to adapt, you need to be dedicated first. Because if you don't have the dedication, then your adaptation won't work. And adaptation is important because if things change, you need to adapt to new things. But if you don't have the dedication to do it, you will let go of it very soon. And so you need to be dedicated. And to get dedicated, you need to put your mind to it every single day that you need to achieve this. So that becomes important. So let me give an example here. This is what you need to do. Okay. How becomes an important thing? Because what happens is many times people lose motivation in between. Because this is how it happens. You go, you listen to me. And once you listen to me, you might get pumped up. You go to a seminar, you listen to something, you get pumped up. And once you get pumped up, you said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Then what happens is you go back, your college starts, your studies start, your exams come in, anything happens, your life comes in, your business comes in, your family comes in. And what happens is that motivation that had started building, that momentum that had started building starts fizzling down. And that start fizzling down, and soon enough you go back into the same thing. Now you would say, was I not dedicated? Even though your intentions were right, many times the dedication might not be there because life does take over, circumstances happen. So how do you make it into a thing where it is sort of an even keel, where you keep on chugging every single day into that? First of all, that is coming down to two things. So I'll explain two things here, which I think will sort of give an idea of how I have done it, okay? Because I can tell from my experience. First thing is, imagine yourself 5 years from now. 5 years from now, imagine yourself. All this has passed. This pandemic is gone. And this is history. Well, hopefully it is history. Now, have you embraced the change? in next 5 years coming in? Have you embraced the change that has coming? Have you invested in yourself? Have you made the changes you want to make now, that in 5 years you are going to be at the place where you have those goals? Where do you want to see yourself? So picture yourself. It's a closed eye process. I'm not going to do it here. That's another part I do in my wealth program, is this closed eye process, where you go through this process of actually taking a look and building your future. I'll tell you why. Okay. I think it might be important to put a little bit more time into this right now. And I can maybe shorten the other thing later on. But what happens
Sure.
is, once you start to create a future for yourself, the future is created in two ways. First thing, let's take a look at, when you take a look outside, let's say a beautiful mountain or a rose or anything, right? You see that beautiful place and everything, and you close your eyes, and that forms a picture in your mind, right? Once that forms a picture in your mind, even after 1 year, if you think about it and you go back into your memory, you can still bring up that memory of that beautiful mountain or a beautiful flower or rose, because it's ingrained in your mind, because you have seen it. So now you can reverse those things. What does reversing mean? Reversing means is that you now close your eyes, think where you are going to be 5 years from now. Think of what you are going to be wearing, who you are going to be with, what are you driving, where are you right now, who you are with. I'm just going over a little fast here, but see your future that you want to make. You want to, not what you have right now. How will you get there is not even the question. The question is, see yourself in a situation over there 5 years from now, that you have accomplished your goals, you have become what you wanted to become, and you see yourself in that light with closed eyes. Now you see what you have done is you have actually created a picture for yourself for your future. It hasn't happened, but that is what is going to start you taking you towards your goal. And that is where that thing with the dedication and destination comes in. Now, what I said, that you listen to me, you get pumped up, but this is the way, once you have created that picture in your mind, that is what is going to keep you moving forward. Every single morning, just close your eyes for 5 minutes and relive that picture. This is what you want to become. And that is going to keep you going through your day, through your life, every single time, because this is what you want to reach. Things will start happening. You will start attracting people. The law of the secret. Okay. All these things start happening. They have happened in my life. I have worked with it this way, because now you have seen your future. Make it as real as possible. Make it as real. Feel it, because best thing is to feel the things. If you start feeling it, then you start making it real and you start moving towards it. This, from my perspective, becomes the most important thing as to move forward. See, many times when you're driving or you're going past a route, you see there's a building that is being made. So first time you see some people digging, okay, they're making the foundation. And next time you go, you see some people are laying some bricks or other things that started to build. After that, sometimes you do not go through that route for some time. But after a few months, when you go there and you said, oh my God, there's a whole building here. What happened? How did this building come in? So understand, this building came in because somebody had that idea in their mind, but it became true. Similarly, you put a seed in the ground, it germinates there, and it can, after years, become a huge tree. So things happen in life like that. So make yourself goals, but make sure that you are in there to achieve them. Okay.
So one question in line to that is, Mr. Masudur Rahim is asking how to visualize techniques. What are, I think he's asking the visualization technique, probably. Yeah. Right.
Okay. So that is completely another subject which we can go on in detail, but I will definitely give you in a short form here as to how to visualize. So there are three kinds of people. First is a person who is visual. So they, and Kamrul, you are aware of that with NLP and everything more than anyone else, where you visualize things, you make pictures in your mind. Some people are auditory, they hear things as to what happens. Third people are the people who feel it. So whatever you are, whether you're an auditory, whether you are kinesthetic, or whether you are visual, either way you can create a future in your mind. The way to create a future in your mind is you need to first write down what your goals are and what you need to become. That's the first step in it. So once you have written it down, it is out of your mind on a piece of paper, which can be gone over again. Because if it is in your conscious mind, it remains there for some time and then it can go away very fast. Your subconscious mind actually keeps on recording every single thing forever. That's how powerful it is. And from there, you start creating those pictures. You can create a vision board. If you're not aware of what a vision board is, I would state go on online and take a look at vision board as to what it is. Vision board is something where you can, the future that you want, take pictures, put them there, put some quotes there, put what you want to become there, so it is in front of you every single day. To do visualization, you need to close your eyes. You need to take some deep breaths, put yourself in a state of relaxation. Your mind cannot be racing on those things. It has to, like I'm saying, you have to slow down. Slow down. Okay? Once you take your deep breaths, slow down, get into that state. Then you start visualizing what you have written into pictures or into feelings that you want to be. Visualization, just as a picture, is not fully helpful. Most people think they can just take a picture, it'll help. It has to be a full body experience that you're experiencing it. Once you start feeling and experiencing things, it's very difficult for me to completely go over it now because this is a little bit elaborate process, but I'm giving you the essence of it, which you can start using. So you start feeling it from inside, like you are really experiencing it. Let's say you want a new car. Okay. You want a new car and you visualize what car it is, what color it is, and everything. You just don't see the car every day and say, car will come into my life. You start feeling it. You start feeling, meaning to say, you feel the seats on the car, you feel the steering wheel. You, when you're driving, pull the window down and see the wind coming to you, hear the noise of the car, see you're going on specific roads, make it as real as possible. That is the technique of visualization in a nutshell. Okay, in a nutshell.
Just I want to add, with this, and absolutely you're correct. Uh, thank you for that. So, so visualization, why it is important? Because just to give you some break and to have sip of water. So visualization, how it works is actually because our brain, our brain cannot recognize what is real and what is not real. So when we visualize, when we create the feeling, as you said, feeling is the key. And I want to have an experiment with everybody together right at this moment. That is, just close your eyes, everybody, just close your eyes and imagine inside the Zoom and also the Facebook, just close your eyes and imagine that you have a lemon inside your hand. You have a very good lemon, ripe lemon inside your hand, and you're squeezing the lemon and you're opening your mouth and you are just having the lemon juice. You squeeze it more, squeeze it more, and squeeze it more, and squeeze it more as long as your mouth is full with the lemon juice. So squeeze it more as long as your mouth is full. So now question to you, how do you feel now? See, my mouth is now full of water. So who thinks that he got the taste of real lemon? Say yes on the Facebook and also the on the session on the Zoom. Right. Did you got the taste of lemon? And why? Uh, right. Uh, right. So you see, our brain couldn't recognize whether we have a real lemon inside or it's a fake lemon, but we are articulating it and we are just visualizing it, and then it secretes the all the saliva, right? inside our mouth. And that's how it works, the imagination, just roughly, just briefly. That is what our brain is attached to it, our feeling and imagination. And when it comes, both the things, it becomes real inside. Over to
Absolutely,
you.
Kamral. That's powerful. Absolutely. Wonderful example of that. Absolutely. So there's a question here that I'm reading. It says, uh, a hypothetical, you're walking in a forest and you found a black suitcase. Inside it holds $1 million and a piece of a paper stained in blood with a single word, don't. Would you take the suitcase home or leave it? And people have been answering different questions on that. I would like to answer that question, but I would like to first go over the wealth principles and then answer that question. Just remind me, Kamrul, if I forget that, but I'll answer it after I'm gone through a few things on the wealth principle.
I will remind
My,
you, there are some other well question as well. Thank you. I'll remind
okay,
you.
okay, perfect. So let me share my screen with you. So this is a short form. I'm going to go over very brief in few things, which would be helpful, I believe, to you. And so there's a difference between wealth and money. Okay. Money is important, no question. Wealth is more important because that is how you create a sustained long term thing. So there are four phases of money and wealth. Okay. First is generating money, saving money, growing your money, and protecting your money. Now, all these four aspects are important to understand to live a wealthy and a rich life. Many people will just go with the first one, which is generation of wealth, because that is where you are. First of all, without generation of wealth, there is nothing can be done. Okay. That is the first aspect of it. You have to generate wealth. Generation of wealth can be through your job, can be through a business, and can be through other passive sources of income that you can go through. But generation of money, generation of wealth is first and foremost and the most important thing that needs to be worked on. Most of the people generally, specifically in United States, just stop there. That's it. They are generating wealth and they're spending wealth. They're generating money paycheck to paycheck and they're spending money. And this has become a big epidemic in United States, specifically now where things are really in a pandemic and people are losing jobs. They are saying this is going to be the worst since the Great Depression that happened in United States because people are losing jobs like anything. So that generation of wealth is causing a problem. People are filing for unemployment. And the reason is because they don't understand the laws of money. They don't understand how money works. From my perspective, all these four are important: generation of money, saving money, growing your money, and finally protecting of money. And there's one more thing which I didn't write because that's a part of my course, and that is that you need to instill the wealth habits. That's most important because until you have those habits, you're not going to be able to go through all these four things. So the first thing that comes in is your mindset evaluation. Okay. What does mindset evaluation mean? Meaning to say, is your mind geared towards getting and attaining money or not? And most of the people have a mindset which is not geared towards attainment of money and wealth. See, most of the people are not even aware of their wealth mindset because they have never been taught about money. Those things have never been ingrained into. It's a study. You need to study this. Now, I studied this not because I wanted to, but because it got me into a place where I had to. Both my parents were teachers. And so education was the most important thing in my life. I always wanted education. I came here, did my master's, MBA, and then I wanted to do my PhD. But things didn't work out right. And at that juncture, I'll just give you a small and short story. I invested with someone because I really wanted to make good money. That is the reason I left my country, came here. And I invested money with someone. And that person, actually, it was $10,000 that I invested into a ladies' clothing dress business, which I didn't know anything about at that time. But the aspect was that I could make easily $100,000 or more by investing into that, because the person had told me and he had shown me that he had huge house, cars, and everything. Long story short, after year and a half, the business didn't work. Everything went down the drain. By the time I closed the business, my brother was with me in this. He lost his job because he left his job to do the business. I was under $50,000 in debt. Everything seemed bleak. I was not making much money here, and I was wondering what went wrong here. That is the time I started reading about money and wealth. Every book that I could do, I could lay my hands on, I did. Because what happened is my accountant told me that I would have to file for bankruptcy because there was no other option but to do that. And coming from where my background was, that didn't just seem right. And once I read and understood the laws of money, I said, whatever happens, I will never declare bankruptcy ever. And I actually understood the laws, worked on it, and being an accountant myself, I devised my own ways. I devised my spreadsheets and working really hard, three jobs, laser like focus. In 3 years' time, I was able to pay off all the debt and be debt free. From that time, I have been teaching these principles and other things to my friends, because principles are same as they were thousands of years ago. They don't change. It's just that you have to understand and adapt with them. And so now that is why I created this course, because I saw that there are so many people that needed, specifically being in nonprofits, where I saw people were making 100 to $200,000 and they were still coming and asking for discounts. And when I started looking into it in depth, why, I found out that most people didn't understand the money and they just paid it and spent it. And they do not teach money in our schools and colleges to the extent where we need to understand it that well. And that is why most people don't understand it. And they learn most of the things from their parents, who themselves don't know many things. And so that is why it becomes all the more important that you have to have that mindset that you need money, you need to have wealth. Because without that, life can be really hard. And many times people come in and they say, I hate money, I don't like money. But the problem is you're still working to live day to day and eat. So you need the money, don't you? So at that time, I always say that if you don't, invest in yourself, make as much as you can, and then help others, because there are thousands who need it. Help them. Do whatever you can to help them. So, as I said, after my awareness, I started my own businesses on the side. That businesses kept on going for next 25 or so years. And every step was a stepping stone for me, whether it was successful or not. Because the most important thing is you need to learn from your failures or so called failures. Because failure is not a failure if you learn from it. You need to step up. John Maxwell has a book called Failing Forward. That means if you ever fail or you feel you have failed, if you learn something from it, then you are one step ahead of where you started. And that is what becomes the most important thing. So once I figured out and knew that my beliefs were running me on autopilot, that was the first and foremost awareness that I needed. Once I get that awareness, that is when I can make a change. So most important thing for you is to understand and become aware at this juncture where you are early in life. If you understand and need and understand these principles, things can be very different for you as you grow up and you start getting into the real life and job, money, business, everything. So first thing, are you aware of the beliefs that are running you on autopilot? Most of the people are not. And there are specific things that you can do to delve into it. And that actually is outside the boundary of what I'm telling you right now. But these are the things that you need to become aware of. Okay. Bottom line is it's impossible to generate more wealth until you believe that you are worth more. You will generally get in life what you think you are worth. And this has been proven again and again. Most of the people think that their self-worth comes from whatever money they are being given by the company they are working for. That is completely incorrect. Your worth is what you believe and think where you can be. Okay. So a little bit deeper into the mindset for wealth. Until you start shifting your mindset about wealth, nothing is going to change. And you know why it's not going to change? Very simply speaking, it's not going to change because if your mindset is not geared towards money and wealth, you will make money, but you will get it out very fast. And that is why I said when I went over the four principles in the beginning, generation of wealth, you need to then understand how to save it. Saving is really an important aspect. For a rainy day fund or an emergency fund, you need to save money. Then you need to know how to take that money that you have saved and then grow that money. Let the money make money for you. That's where you need to understand. But finally, where I again, I have stories on everything, and then you need to protect it because many times people will just go there and they will not protect the money. Somebody can steal it or somebody can take it away, or you know what, if nothing happens, then the government might take it away from you. And you know why saving is so important? And I'll tell you one thing is so hilarious. Whenever you're working in a job and you get a paycheck, you see that the government takes the taxes out before they give you the paycheck. You know why? Because they don't trust you with your money. They do not trust that at the end of the year, you will have saved the money for the taxes and pay them. That is why they take it out first. And so that is what we need to do for ourselves. Okay. One of the examples with the mindset I always say is, for example, is there music where you are right now? And most of the people, if they don't have the music on, you will say, there is no music. But if you tune into a radio, wouldn't you get that music? You will, because the music was always there. You haven't reached or tuned into the frequency where that music is there. Similarly, if you tune into the right frequency for the wealth, you will be able to attract and attain it. And for that, you will start attracting people. These things keep on going as you go through your life, okay? But do understand that your mindset is the first thing that you need to start working on. Now, this day and age, seriously, is the best opportunity to become wealthy and generate wealth than any time in the history. And you know why? Because this device you have in your hand, your phone, this is what I have here in my hand. This can connect you with anybody in the world. Like I told you, I'm connected with you thousands of miles away. There are so many people who might be watching it on the Facebook right now. You're connected. Make use of it. Think of times, in olden times, it was so difficult to make the money. One thing which boggles my mind, in 1980s, there were huge computers full of rooms and everything. Right now, anybody in sub-Sahara Africa with a disposable phone and internet has more access to information that the president of United States had in late 80s. Think of where the world and the change has come. Unbelievable change. And that is where you can use this because you're connected to the world. If you create a course, an online course like I created, I can sell it across the world. I can make an impact to the whole world, but your mind has to open up to that. Think about it. This is the best time. So bottom line, if you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, you're right. Your beliefs not only affect your wealth life, but they reflect on all the aspects of your life. That is what your beliefs do. And maybe we can talk about it sometime else about beliefs and how they run you. But they affect everything in your life. Like Kamrul was talking about the picturization he just did with the lemon. And now you don't have a lemon in your hand, do you? You're just imagining things. But because you have an experience with the lemon before, you know what it tastes like, because your belief system has it ingrained in there. That is why you are able to make that memory just from your thought. That is how important it can become. So, this is something which I ask my class when I'm taking it from everyone. Do you have thoughts of a king or a pauper? You see, people who are wealthy and rich think very differently from the people who are middle class or poor. And if you develop the right thinking, then your life will be very different. You are at the inception, you're at the beginning right now. And if you start changing your thoughts, things will change for you. It is important. If I knew this at the time when I was at the juncture where you are, I can tell you my life would be very different. But again, it takes time to learn things sometimes, and sometimes you need to discover things. And as somebody had asked, don't worry about others. That's how you need to move forward. This is important as you move through life, because going with the computer, many times we have the undo or reset button. You do not have an undo and a reset button in life. Life is not a dress rehearsal, it is real. So take life in that manner. And that is why when you need to move forward and go for your passion, just go for it. Go for it. Don't just sit there and think what I would do. Just take action. Important. So here is what Napoleon Hill in his book Think and Grow Rich states in the chapter on persistence. I'm not going to go over this right now because that is long. But what I will tell you simply is that people who are persistent are the ones who are going to change their lives. Persistence is what is going to help you to get to your goals. When your motivation has dropped, when you have heard everything and you're motivated to do and you need to move forward, persistence is what is going to take you forward. It's going to put you on the path of success. So persistence is, I think, one of the most important things. People who persist are the ones who make it. So here are two things that I would like to go over today with you, of the laws which you need to understand at this juncture. First is you need to pay yourself first. This is something which has been touted by so many people again and again. But the bottom line is most of the people do not understand this. And that is where I gave you the example of the government. Government takes the money out first because they pay themselves first, so they get the revenues to run the countries. Similarly, you need to pay yourself first. See, we have heard this advice, pay yourself first. Many experts consider this to be the most important financial tip. What does this exactly mean? See, the tip refers to the practice of saving some of your money before you pay any of your bills. Many times, my friends come and ask me, and they say, Raj, everything that I have is mine. What do you mean by paying yourself first? It's all mine. Answer is no. Once you get a paycheck or you make money from your business, you start paying the bills. You start paying money to all the necessities that you have. And in the end, whatever is left for most people is what they say they pay themselves. And generally, that is zero because they have spent everything. But if you reverse the process, okay, that you pay yourself, reverse the process. That means everything that you get in, you need to take and make sure that you need to pay 10% of the net income to yourself. Okay. Before you spend any money, pay yourself first. You may have to put off a few purchases or eating out, but once this habit is instituted, you will not notice this. Many times people do not have 10%, which they feel. Start with 1%. I don't care. $1 out of $10 is not much, but it's a habit that you need to make, and it keeps on improving. One of the things I tell people is to automate it. So if you have automation in your bank accounts and if can be transferred the money, then automatically as soon as the check comes in your account, 10% of that or whatever you want to start with needs to go into a secondary account which you don't touch. Because doing it yourself is going to be difficult. You need to just start automating it and start putting it. Soon enough, it becomes a habit, and soon enough, you will start building that nest of saving. This is the first and foremost thing which I say that you need to do. So, by paying yourself first, you'll find that you adjust your lifestyle accordingly and then save money more easily. At the juncture you are, it is easier to do than 10 to 15 years from now. If you haven't, and I've gone through it, so I know that how complex and difficult it can become. Second thing is the miracle of compound interest. At this juncture, if you understand what a compound interest is, it's all the more important. People have heard of it, but many times they don't pay or understand it that well. And miracle of compound interest, as per Albert Einstein, he said compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world and mankind's greatest invention because it is the mightiest force ever unleashed for amassing the wealth. It's that powerful. So what does it mean? So I'm going to go over it in brief. When it comes to calculating interest, there are two choices: simple and compound. Simple interest means a set percentage principal every year. Compound means interest on interest. This is what has made so many investors so successful. So compound interest is one of the basic building blocks in banking and one of the most powerful financial forces around that, according to your investments. Take both the factors into account. If you invest $10,000 and 10% interest, you will get after the first year 1,000 added to your account. In the second year, you will get additional 1,000 and so on. Compound interest, first year would be same, 1,000 added to your account. Second year is where magic starts happening. You will get 10% interest on 11,000. That produces 1,100 in the second year. This again will be added to your principal and 10% will be received on that. Now you see how fast this starts growing? And the main thing here is the age factor. The earlier you start, even when it is with least amount of money, things are going to start growing for you. So let's see here. Let leave this investment for 30 years without touching it and let money compound at 10%. So things fluctuate. 10% is an average I used because once you look at American markets over long term, 10% has been a sort of a standard mark. So after 30 years, your investment would be worth 174,494. This is the progression. After 5 years, 10,000 has grown to 16. After 15 at 41. After 2,508. After 30. So you see how compounding of interest really works and how powerful it is. These things you need to understand. And as I said, it's beneficial to start early. And that is where I said, pay yourself first, take whatever you can save. And instead of going out and enjoying yourself, which you should, there is a place and time for it, no question. For yourself, for your coffees, for your lattes, for your cafes, there is a place for it. You need something, but first invest in yourself. Because after 5 or 6 years, the person who has invested, you can have as many coffees and lattes as you want to, as many things you want to, because you have that solid nest of money. It becomes that important. So a few examples I put here. Very quickly, I'll go over them, and then we can go with the questions. So this is where I just put a compound interest calculator where you put in a regular deposit of $100 with an initial deposit of $10,000. And over 10 years, you will have 47,555 at 10%. Okay. At 5%, it's going to be 31,000. Its total interest will be 9,998. I'm going through it a little fast because this can get a little detailed. But all I want to show you is that how things can really grow. So initial deposit of 25,000 with a deposit of 500 every month at 8% interest for 10 years can yield you 146,000 on an investment of 85,000. See, interest of 61,000. Compounding of interest becomes very important, and I would love for you to actually start investing in yourself if you don't understand this concept. There's a lot out there on the internet about it, but getting to know of paying yourself first and investing in yourself becomes most important. Now, my program has huge too many things, but I took two most things which would be most pertinent to you at this level and time of your life, where you can start with that. And Napoleon Hill says all you need is one good idea to succeed. And once you have start putting the money in and compounding it, if a great idea comes in for a business, there you have. You might have the seed money to put into it, because one good idea is all you need to succeed in life. It's that simple. Again, as I say, happiness is also a choice. Okay? People could have money, they could be miserable because they choose to. You need to be happy to be alive, see another day. It's a matter of choice. Okay? So that's what I have. If you need, you can reach me at raj@rajkapur.com. And I will stop my share right now. And before I get into questions, I would definitely like to say, last week, my very dear friend, my brother, Sheikh was here with you, and he did just an exceptional job by presenting and giving so much value to you. At that time, he had mentioned about setting up a mastermind specifically for this group on intentional living. And so him and me would be doing that together. This is something which we would like to add value to you, where we will go over a certain number of weeks. And that way you will have a lot of time to ask a lot of questions and go over something where you can make your level of living and intentional living. So I really hope I was able to add some value to you. And it was worth it, because the way I go, I can keep on going for a whole day. But I know everybody's time is important. And so, Kamrul, anything, any
Yeah, I
question?
think, yeah, thank you for all this presentation and brilliant ideas. Definitely, all these are important. Now, can we go for the Q&A session, and can we have everybody in front of the, on the session together? And it's Q&A session. Ovi and Shahriar, if you can bring everybody into this, please ask the questions, whoever wants to, on the change and also the wealth point of view. So I'm checking the questions and comment as well. Just open time, open floor for all of you. Come forward with your questions, comments. Who is coming with the questions first?
Sir,
So
may I ask a question if you can permit?
Okay, sure. Come forward, switch on your camera. Switch on your camera, and only one person at a time.
I
Switch
guess
on.
the host has disabled it. I cannot switch on my camera.
Okay, then ask question, please.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Hello, sir. I had a question about the money fact. The fact you actually talked about saving money. Recently, I have read a book written by Robert Kiyosaki, The Rich Dad Poor Dad. So in that book, Robert Kiyosaki mentioned quite an interesting fact about saving money. What he said is actually in terms of saving money, what we do, we save that amount of money in our locker or in bank or whatsoever. But money does face inflation. So what we save before 10 years doesn't remain same after 10 years. So basically, we are actually not getting the full amount of money what we are saving. So what Robert Kiyosaki said in this aspect, that if we can actually invest that saved money in something like an asset, which can actually payroll, which can actually keep our money getting a bigger growth. So what my question is, we general common people, everyone doesn't have any asset that can actually grow their money in a bigger scale. So in that case, what can actually general people do to adapt this philosophy in their life too?
Okay,
Thank
so the
you.
first thing, sure, thanks. So what I would state on here is, That Robert Kiyosaki's book is just amazing, wonderful. And as I said, when I went on my journey, I read almost every single book that was out there. And everybody has different aspects of money, and they are taking a specific set of people and group when they write that book. And so when Robert Kiyosaki wrote that book, it's a very powerful book and it has all the right aspects to it. But then there comes circumstances where you are in the world, what money you have, how much can you earn, and what can you do. So bottom line on this is I would say start slow. Slow meaning to say by investing and creating a habit, as I said, paying yourself first. So once you start paying yourself first, you need to do is to create an emergency fund for yourself. What do I mean by emergency fund? You know, there are emergencies that come in life. You need to keep a limit of a money that you feel is going to help you, maybe 3, 6 months, depending on what level you're at, of money that could be needed in times of emergency. This should be kept aside in a secure place, maybe a savings account, or you can put it into a CD for some time, or a money market account, which can yield you lower interest rates, but it's a secure money which you don't touch. Next, when you keep on taking and paying yourself first, that money, that is where you need to figure out what do you need to do with your money, because your money needs to grow, correct? Because if you keep it in a locker after 10 years because of inflation, the money value is going to go down. But what you need to do is you take that money and you need to invest it into a specific instrument. Now, what could that instrument be? It could be real estate if you are really have the money. Most people at that juncture might not have the money right now to invest. And do you have interest in real estate? Because Robert Kiyosaki's most of his actually investments are in real estate. He is very solid in that and has yielded him great results. But that is in United States. In across the countries, it's very different. First, number two, just by hearing whatever is there, don't follow it blindly. You have to figure out what your interest is. Are you interested in investments, in stocks and bonds? If you are, maybe then make it a study and understand those before you put your money. Because understand too, money can be put, don't put money into risky things if you don't have the money to put it to risky things. I hope you understand that. You need to take a look at, because in my
Yes, sir.
course I go over a lot of details on this as to how to invest your money, where to invest your money. But then again, that is mainly guided towards United States. So you have to take a look in your country, what is the vehicle that you need to use to put the money there where it can grow. And if you are a secure investor, then you need to make sure that you put it into some place where it is growing continuously, maybe into some bonds, into stocks, or into, there are many things that government brings out that you take a look where there is secure or guaranteed rate of interest. It depends on what your risk taking capability is. That's the bottom line. But from my perspective, saving is important. And after saving, your money needs to grow for you. So yes, you need to invest it. That's why we were talking about the compounding of interest.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
Sure.
Anyone else wants to come forward and change an investment, change mindset, growth? Who is next? Please come forward. Let me see. I feel like I am always behind from my mind side than my actual age. In my age, a lot of friends I know have completed graduation, but I'm still at university. This demonstrates me, and I also lose friends too quickly. What I should do? One of the question coming from one of the participants.
Okay. Okay, so take a look at it from the perspective that you said you have completed the graduation, you're still at the university. Why is it demotivating you?
Hmm.
I don't understand that. Why is it demotivating you?
He's
You're
saying
in the,
that some of his friends passed out already and is behind of them.
so what? as long as you are going through the life. So understand this, at this juncture, what it seems to be in life is that others are getting ahead of me and I'm staying behind. What happens is, as you go through life, you will realize these things don't matter. Once you go through next 10 years, 15 years, things change in life. Bottom line is that you are there in the university and you are keeping on pursuing and going to graduate. It doesn't matter if it is now, it doesn't matter if it is after 2 years. It doesn't matter if your friends have graduated. And if those are the friends that are you're losing because you haven't graduated, then those are not the right friends for you. You need the friends who actually need to be with you, who support you, who need to work with you. And what happens is, if you don't start thinking in short term, it is going to demotivate you. Man, that person got ahead. Where am I left? But take a look and think in terms of next 10 years. In 10 years, you could, in 1 year, catapult like anything. You start a business and it keeps on going. And in 1 year, you can make more than what other people have made in maybe 10 years. Life doesn't work like that. Take a look at the length of the time that's going to happen. So when you're in the university and you're on the graduation path, keep on moving towards it because it's your life. Let others don't. You will be very unhappy if you start keeping pace with other people's lives. You'll be very unhappy. It's going to demotivate you. Do not compete with others. Life is not about competing with others. You have to compete with yourself. You need to be better next day than you were today. That's the bottom line on this. And as long as you're keeping on pursuing and getting to the place where you will graduate, all the more power to you. If people leave you and the friends are not going to be with you, lose them then. They might not be the right friends for you. Okay.
Yes. We cannot compare with our chapter 1 with somebody else's chapter 5 or chapter 9, chapter 10, because everybody is different. Everybody's situation is different, upbringing is different, circumstances is different, choice is different, thinking pattern is different. So it doesn't matter really, as long as you are, as you said, Raj, like what is your ultimately you are trying to achieve in next 10, 15, 20, or even 30 years. So are you on track? So that actually matters most. Okay, fantastic. So who else?
So there was a question, Kamrul, here. If you are
Sure.
walking in the forest, you found a black suitcase,
Right.
and inside was
Take it,
$1 million
please.
and a piece of
Take
paper
it.
stained. Would you take it or not? And my answer to that would be that whenever you get money which you have not earned, or the money which doesn't belong to you, you will lose it very fast. And this is an example which has gone on with people who win lottery. And that is the money that comes in because their mind is not ready for that money. You are going to lose that money. There will be fear. There will be terms. So if you see that $1 million and a piece of paper stained in blood with single word don't, and even if you take it, you will be fearful because you do not know where it came from, but you will lose it. You will lose it one way or the other. It's not going to set you on a path of success. It will not do that. So you have to be careful. The money you get and make or earn, your mind should be ready for that. That's the most important thing. Okay.
Absolutely. And in most cases, history says that even people goes back after having, winning a lottery, and then after some years, they actually found out behind than that of the original original space, because once the mind, as you said, is not ready, so the habit actually, after getting those amount of money, so they started abruptly using those money, and then it started derailing them, and eventually goes backward.
Correct.
That happens psychologically. Good. So who else is willing to come forward to any questions, comments?
Hello.
Please. Yes, please.
Sir, I'm Tausif. Can you listen to me?
Yes, we can. Please, Tausif, come forward and ask.
Thank you, sir. So I want to understand and learn more about compound interest. So I highly glad to know that Einstein said compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. So I want to know more about the compound interest first, sir. Thank you.
So, compounding of interest is really the most important thing to understand. And as I had explained to you here, it's a very detailed process. On it's very simple to understand because compounding means making money on money. That means if you invest $100 and you make $10 off that, then next month you'll be making money on $110. And then you make another percentage on that, and you keep on earning money on the money. The most important things with compounding of interest is longevity, how long you keep the money, number one. Number two is consistency. Consistency meaning to say, whatever least amount of monies that you can get or the most amount of monies that you can put in, you need to keep on investing them, and investing them in a, if there's nothing right away, then keep on investing in a money market or whatever accounts are there in your country, which would be yielding you some interest on the money. And slowly over years, compounding of interest starts becoming big. It starts to become really, really big. There's a lot on the internet about compounding of interest, which you can go and read on and figure out. But compounding of interest, from my perspective, if you have not done it, it's a study you need to work on. Make sure you do. But most important is not the study, the most important is the action. That even if you can take little amount of money and start putting it in, that will become a habit for you. That investment, soon after 1 year, you will see the growth. And this is sort of money which I would say is money on money. Because what happens is, let's say your money is producing children, okay, which is the interest. And compounding of interest is those children are producing more money. The main important thing, as I said again, is keep on growing. Many people what to do, and this is maybe one thing important to understand about compounding of interest, is many people, when they see that they are compounding the money, they feel like, man, I have gotten some good money, let me take it out and spending on a vacation or spending on something, on my new clothes, on new shoes, on something else. And they take the money out and they spend it, and that's when they realize that the money once gone is not compounding anymore, and it shuts it down. So that frequency needs to keep on going. Once you have reached the level where you feel you have good money which can sustain you for some time, then take the money and use it for an investment, maybe in a business, in some course, in something that can grow yourself. So everything that you need, that is for your growth. That's what you need to do. Okay.
Thank you. So compounding interest is, just money on money. That sounds simple. And then accumulated interest. So who is next? Let us take a couple of questions before we close. So who wants to be on the line? On money, on change, on mindset, on growth.
Am I audible? This is Habib.
Yes, you are. Audible.
Well, good evening, Raj Kapur sir. So I had a question to getting it in a greater aspect. So you know what, we are facing a global crisis. Living in a dwelling in a country like third world, or in this aspect, we know about the businesses which are, micro projects, like which are not organized or corporated businesses, like pani puri business, or the people who are selling the potatoes, chips, so many things. They may not affect our economy in a greater context, or in a such margin. Still they are affecting our economy, and they are contributing day by day. You know what? So in this recession moment, so this is getting demolished, and this is affecting, and the people who are connected with this kind of businesses, and they are not getting anything to do, or getting anything left to earn their livelihood, right? So in this moment, after when this corona or COVID-19 recession moment will disappear, how would they come back to their life, or what can be the actual or the most proper solution for them to get back to their life? You know what, the minority, the people who are living under the poverty line, so they are also important for our society. So what can be the best solution for them to get back to their life, or to get the actual socio-economical balance back in our society? Thank you
Got
so
it.
much.
A great question, but a tough question. Because given this pandemic, these are the things that are happening, which we have never seen before. How would it turn out is still a question which we don't know. As I said, it's not going to be you just flip a switch and things are going to change back to normal. That is not going to happen. And yes, you're right. These people are hurting because they do provide an important value to the society. That's an important value. Now, what I see happening, possibly, and it could change, obviously, because we do not know how the future is going to shape up and what will happen. Once the things start easing up and people start going out, there will be more of a need for these people because people have been missing these things quite a bit. And once they get back into the norm of things, their businesses possibly can be growing much more than they what had anticipated. Their thinking would be different right now because they are thinking from a poverty mindset, which is there. There's nothing that you can do right now about it. But they're still in a business. Understand, they're still in a business. Whether it is a pani puri business, whether it is a aloo tikki business, whatever, it is still a business. So a business can come and grow when the things are going to open up because people are just fed up of being staying at home right now. They're looking for things outside what they can do. And I can give you an example here because of United States. So in United States, similarly, many people love eating out. Like that in our countries, people love eating out, and that's the thing. And so what happens is restaurants are hurting here. They just opened up Tennessee, I think 2 or 3 days ago. And you know what? People have clamored like crazy to these restaurants. Their businesses have grown like crazy right now. Second thing, which is being happening here, that, and I do not know how it is there, so I can't exactly answer that question. But many times people are delivering things to home. So many of these people, if they're able to deliver to homes, I'm not sure how the system works, so I won't be able to answer that. That could be an aspect which they can think on terms, which might help them to grow their businesses when things actually open up. But I'm telling you, people are clamoring because they want to get these things. And seeing the things here, the way people just went out to restaurants and going crazy about it, which was not healthy, which was not recommended, but it was very clear that people are looking, and those businesses are, if they sustain, important part is they need to sustain, because if it goes too long and they are not able to sustain and they are in that poverty, then there will be definitely major problems. But if they're able to sustain and they think in terms of how, when it comes back, what are the sources they can use to grow their business, that could be really helpful.
Fantastic, sir. Thank you so much.
Good.
Thank you.
So one comment I want to read from Facebook, that is, wealth decide what will be the mindset, or mindset will influence the wealth. So wealth decide what will be the mindset, or mindset will influence the wealth. The question to you.
Sure. Mindset will influence the wealth. Wealth is not going to influence your mindset. And I can give you an example for that. And the reason is, very simply speaking, there are many people who I know and who are working with me on my coaching, who are people who are making millions, which means they are wealthy. Okay. But they don't have the mindset of wealth. So they're still living paycheck to paycheck. That is the reason I created my program. I saw people who are making hundreds and thousands of dollars, getting good money, living good lives, living in very nice houses, driving very nice cars, wearing top-notch clothes, looking like they are multi, but when it comes back to the bottom line, they're still living like paycheck to paycheck because they don't have the mindset. So money can come in, but mindset is not coming from the wealth. The mindset has to drive the wealth. And if you have the right mindset first, then and that is where you start attracting wealth. And that is where you need to go back and start knowing all the four aspects of wealth, which I just talked to you about. And once you do that, that is where you start living a wealthy, prosperous life. Because what you need to be financially free at one time. There will be struggles, but once you are at those levels, that is how. And I have seen people who were in very simple jobs, who didn't make much across their life, but now they are in their 70s, okay? And they are living lives which you couldn't, like, how could they make such a huge life or such a wealthy life by all their life working in either government jobs or making small money? Because what they did was they had that mindset, they invested and kept on investing for a long period, and now they're living lives that they have never lived before. So mindset is what drives wealth.
Absolutely. That's what I also say, that your relationship with the money, so that actually determines. So what is the relationship that you have, with the money? And that is the past relationship. That's not the ideas, that's the thought. And that's the behavioral pattern that automatically resonates from the past pattern. It's a pattern. So that determines the future as well. So we need to change the relationship with the wealth and anything that we want to change. So whatever we want to change. So that is the perspective. Another question that is Sheikh is asking, Raj, what is your thought on savings and growing money for students who don't have good money to save, or in a big loan from past life, especially in this crisis time?
Sure. So even if you do not have much money, as I said, start slow. Start at the basic level. So even if you get an allowance, let's say, or you make some money as a student somewhere, and you get, let's say, $10, start saving only $1. You're not going to miss it. Many people get into the habit right now where you just keep on going and spending the money. Before you spend any money, as I said, pay yourself first, because that is what is going to set your mindset for security. Once your mindset is set to security, and even before you pay your debt, this is what I would like to tell you, even before you pay your debt, that first aspect of paying yourself first has to come in. It is not that first I will pay my debt and then I'll get the money. That is not going to happen. I have seen it hundreds and thousands of times. It's not going to happen. First thing, you start with that, get that smaller amount, put it on the side. And once you do that, then for the next of it, you need to actually create a budget for yourself. Budgeting is a very important thing. And that's a part of all my process of my course. Budgeting is important. Then you create a budget. In the budget, you take in how much money you're getting, take a portion of that. And I said, at least try to get to up to 10%. If not, start with 1%, second month grow to 2%, 3%, whatever. But start putting that money into a separate account for yourself, which is your own money that is paying yourself first. Then with the budget, you see what are your necessary expenses. And understand, many times what we do is our desires, we think of them as necessities. Many times our desires are not necessities. I would love for everyone to be at a place where you're living a debt-free life. Debt is something which keeps on growing on your head. So first pay yourself first, then see how much you can pay towards the debt. Now, this is one of the things I teach in my course. So if you have a debt and they are on, let's say, credit cards or something, first thing would be to take the lowest amount of debt that you have and put all your energies towards paying that off. All your energies. That means for rest of the amounts of debt, pay the base minimum that you need to. Okay. But for that per amount where you have the lowest amount, try to put in as much as possible to get rid of it. You know what? Because what happens is once it starts, you'll be on a roll. One is gone, you'll be like, man, oh, that's gone. I can now tackle the second, then the third. So it could be a slow process. Then start to feel where you can start earning more money, generating more wealth. There are many places where you can start making passive income. And with the internet, there is so much possibility of doing it. If you are good at something, start teaching something. Start giving tutoring lessons to people. Start making some money there. You have to open your mind, get out of your comfort zone. There are so many possibilities outside. So that is where you start generating more wealth. So that's a loop. Instead of the negative loop, get into the positive loop. Okay.
Perfect. So that's good. Anything on change mindset, and anything on, regarding the wealth? There is a question that's on habit. I want to know how a person can build habits, and what kind of habit do we have to develop as a person, as a student, or as a businessman? No, basically anyone. So
okay.
So yeah.
So habits are what form your life. Habit is what forms your life. Because what happens is, and let's go down from the structure. When you make your goals as to what you want to be in next so many years, from there you drill down your goals to the yearly goals. From yearly goals, you need to go down to quarterly goals, to your monthly goals. Now, how do you achieve those goals? Just by writing those goals is not enough. Until and unless these goals become a habit, you're not going to achieve it. How do you make it into a habit? That's the important question. Very important question, actually. I would say that that's a very thought-provoking question. So the way to create a habit is to do something on a regular basis, daily, every single day. You do something about it, and that is how you develop it into a habit. So let's say you want to, let's take something not on a context of money or anything, but you want to create a habit of making yourself more healthy. Every single day, you cannot just start and say, okay, today I'm going to run a marathon. You know what? You can start with that. But you know what? After a little time, you'll be so tired that you won't be able to do anything. And you'll be like, man, this doesn't work. And so you just leave it. The creation of habit is that you start slow. You say, today I'm going to walk a quarter of a mile. Second day or third day, I'll walk half a mile. And that is if you're not in shape you want to get. And then you keep on increasing it. But every single day you do it. And soon enough, it becomes a habit. And you can't live without it. And you keep on doing it. So that is where you can. Now, what I do, I'll show you. Here is my daily diary or daily journal. And this is where I write every single thing. Every day I write what I am grateful for, at least 3 things. I give my thanks, because once you live with a heart of gratefulness, things start coming in your life because you're thankful to people. Your ego goes down. Second is an affirmation, which should be your affirmation, that I deserve the success I'm creating. I deserve the wealth I'm creating or something. Then you start writing down what the tasks you need to do. But in your schedule, you need to build in. Whether you want to meditate, it should be a part of it. If you want to exercise, make it a part of it. Start slow, keep on building on it. Many times people used to say it takes 21 days to build a habit. Then it came out, it was 44 days. The latest thing I'm hearing is 66 days. So there are different aspects of how you build a habit. But the main thing is consistency. Consistency. Doing it every single day and you will become a habit. Similarly, when I said start paying yourself, every single time you get money, pay yourself first. And it becomes what? A habit. That's how you create a habit.
Hmm. Absolutely. Once you build your habit, habit will build you. So, so that's the key. So what kind of habit you need to see your life, because many people it's all the discipline, fundamental is self-discipline. So in order to be self-disciplined, your life has to be within the structure, and it goes to the very early proverb that early to bed and early to rise makes you wealthy and healthy. So that's the basic, and that's the fundamental one, I believe. And I believe it, I truly mean it. That's the fundamental of every habit. That's my belief. Yours might not be the same, but I believe this one, early to bed, early to rise, and that's make you wealthy and healthy. So if you're not healthy, there is no purpose also being wealthy. So health is the most powerful wealth. The fundamental is being self-disciplined, and also observe what you eat, what you bringing inside, in through eyes, through ear, and through mouth, using the tongue as well. So these are the things goes inside. So what is your take on it, Raj?
Say that again, Kamrul, because it cut off a little bit. I didn't hear that.
So like we are taking only the food, right? So food goes through our mouth, but there are also other things goes through our ear, through our eyes, and we also speak through our mouth. So everything going inside, not only the food. So we got to bring something filter, what you see or don't want to see, or don't want to hear, what we want to hear, and what we want to speak. So these are the things also creating the fundamentals of habits.
Absolutely correct. So what happens is once you have set your goals, you have set your purpose where you want to go, then anything that is going on outside, which is negative, you need to shun it out for you. You need to roll it off. Because what happens is first thing, as we said, for habits and everything is going to go on a daily basis. But the first thing is to create a goal. You need to see where you need to reach, what you need to reach at. And once that determination is done, then on the basis of that, you are going to, like we spoke before, there will be people who will be criticizing you. There will be people who will be talking to you. You need to let it roll off. You need to let it go. You need to keep on being on that purpose. You will see things that might not be conducive, that might not be right, but you need to let it go. You don't need to focus your energies on those things. Similarly, you will hear things which may not be the ones that you need to or want to hear, but you will hear them. But what you need to do, you need to let it go. You need to let it go because you know what your higher purpose is, where you need to reach. Most of the people who have done are very focused. So keep your focus on that, and whatever you hear, whatever you speak to others has to be on the purpose. Your energies, your mindset needs to be very focused on that. Would it be focused all the time? No, it won't be. No, it cannot be. But the main thing is to try to make sure that you are focused on it most of the time. And most important, any of the negative things you see or you hear, you need to let it go and roll off. That's the only way you will be keeping on forward. Because what happens is negativity and self-pity is one of the worst things that people get into the mode of, and that is what drives them down the drain of negativity, because it's a spiral curve. Like what you said, Kamrul, you hear things, you see things, and you feel started negative, and you keep on going down that spiral. But if you have that big goal, you know where you want to reach, and you have kept that vision, then that is what you need to keep your eye on and keep on point.
Right. So Mr. Masudur Rahim, he's asking, the question is, habit and mindset work together. I think definitely, but mindset is the key. Once we have the right mindset, and then you can build habit. So because habit comes first, later, mindset comes first.
Yes,
So,
absolutely right.
but after having the determination on the mindset that yes, I want to build habit, then it would go parallelly.
Correct.
But
Absolutely.
it comes later on and then catches on the second. It's like a relay baton. Mind is waiting, and habit, need to build. Okay, I want to build habit. Then it starts relaying, and then goes. That's the example I want to give. What do you want to
Beautiful
say?
example. Beautiful example, Kamrul. Beautiful example. That is exactly correct. That your mindset has to first be in place for a habit to be created. Otherwise, if your mindset is not right, your habit will break. That's
Will
what will
go
happen.
away. It
Exactly.
will go away. It will go away.
Exactly.
So that's that's like the New Year resolution.
Yeah,
We don't have the mindset ready, and then we start creating the New Year resolution loads. Putting the diaries on that, and then it wipes out. Within a month, goes back to
absolutely.
zero.
Yeah.
So that's what. Uh, so thank you. I think it's been an amazing session. It's been over 2 hours. We wish we could go on and on, and because it's such a topic: habit, mindset change, and wealth, and that's at the that's at the things that you need, because this is the time actually forcing us to change our habit. I was thinking, what are the things that is teaching us this pandemic? A lot of things also good and bad, and it is also destroying some of our good habit as well, this pandemic situation, because we are at home, we're sleeping more, waking up, and then not showing up, not doing things is happening for I think for all over the world, isn't it?
Without question. Without question. And that is where you need to be disciplined. That is where
Is
your
it?
discipline comes in. Because if you're disciplined, then you know where your focus is and you keep on doing things right. Yes, there are times when you will slip. No question about it. No ifs and buts. You cannot be all that energetic and all that every single day. There will be times when things are going to weigh down on you. But as I said, if your focus is right and you keep on shifting your focus to the place where you need to go to, then things will change. And yes, there are times when you do need a break. This is one of the important things I tell in my course, and I tell overall to people who I'm coaching, that you need to build those rest and recreation things on your calendar. Because I used to do is my calendar would be full of all day doing this, achieving. You know what? No. You need rest and recreation in there. That is how your mind gets fresh. And once you do that, that means, let's say you did so much, now you're happy. Take some time to watch some good television, maybe a good movie or something with your family. Spend some time with your family. Okay, it feels good. G- Time together for dinner, time together for lunch, maybe. And then when you come back, your mind is more invigorated and you can do things much faster. Because, like Stephen Covey says, you need to sharpen your axe. You just cannot keep on cutting the tree with the old axe. You need some rest and build it in your schedule every day. That's how important it is.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, you said the very crucial point. Rest is the key. That is the relaxation inside the mind. If our mind is so busy, a busy mind cannot determine or cannot bring a good decision because it's so busy. And on the surface level, our mind is so busy. So we need to go deep inside the mind, and then, and the deeper of traveling in the mind happens only we are shutting down all the sensory things, that is our eyes, on our mouth and everything. So that is what you say. You are not able to go outside, then go inside now. Go inside is actually looking the inside paradox, what is happening inside. And then that is the things which is very much essential. And it gave us all the opportunity, this uh, pandemic. And,
Yeah,
and again, it's a mindset also. How do we see it? How do you reflect it on this opportunity? Because that's how it determines. So again, Thank you, Raj. Thank you for being part of a great show and great discussion. I think we've got so many takeaways, and definitely, definitely, we are looking forward. Your mastermind session, we are on, and would be, so let us know, and would be looking forward. One last comment: pandemic opened our eyes, and it creates chances for all to utilize mind to learn a lot of things besides safety issues. Absolutely. So, what is the most needed for our life? So that's actually teaching us every situations and circumstances, front and behind what is happening. So that is meant to happen and meant for us. It's not happening abruptly, because nothing in this world happens out of ocean, out of a blue moon. There is a creator who makes things, every logic has a meaning.
And everything has a lesson in it.
Absolutely.
It depends on how you learn that lesson.
So Raj, your one last comment, thoughts, and then let's, we're looking forward maybe next session, definitely sometime.
Well, Kamrul, thank you for having me here. And I'm just grateful that I have been able to add some value, hopefully, to everyone, because there are so many things and so many questions that I don't think we even got to. And that I think is a part of this thing, because there is so much going on. But as I said, live your life with a purpose. That's the most important thing. Live your life with a purpose. And that purpose is what you want to become in life. And growth is the most important part of it. With the growth, embrace change. Embrace change. Wealth, from my perspective, is one of the most important things which I learned the hard way. So delve into it, understand it at an early age. Because once you do, things would be much easier to you, because you're getting to know about these things, which I would have loved to know when I was your age. Seriously. But you can learn from my mistakes, you can learn from my successes. But the bottom line is, don't reinvent the wheel. There is so much out there that you can learn from. You're already putting yourself out there with Kamrul. Kamrul is actually one of the best coaches that can help you. Him and his team, with all the people that you have accumulated, Kamrul, you're doing an amazing, amazing job by pouring so much into people. You are literally going to change the whole culture. I can see it. And just keep on pushing forward. And I'm here. Anytime you need my help, I'm here for you. Okay?
Absolutely. Pleasure and gratitude. So the grass is always greener the other side. That's what that's what we think. And always wish the glasses are either half full or half empty. That's the mindset. Let's see the glasses for half full. And let's not see and compare the grass is greener the other side, because it will always be there, like the way we want to see it. Let's see the glasses full, and life would be full only. And as you said, the purpose, which can only take us to the destination that we see, because life is not a race, and there is no finishing line, and there is no end of life. So life goes on, and we
Life is
even
journey.
cannot. Yeah, it's a journey, and no one can get the meaning of life, because we haven't been granted the power of having the meaning touched. And by the time we touch the meaning, we're gone.
Yeah,
we're gone. So it's like a cycle. And but let us try to unfold the potential that we have by creating impact, influence, and growth. And then if we grow, then inside and out, everything grows exponentially. So that's the hope and belief. And thank you for watching, everybody, on the Facebook and on the Zoom session, on the classroom. Fantastic. Without you, nothing is happening. Thank you. Stay well, Raj. Thank you for your time, effort, and fantastic delivery and demonstration. Absolutely. Thanks to everybody watching on the Facebook. Love, peace, and happiness. May God bless all of you.
Bye.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hello, Raj, and hello,
Yes.
so on behalf of CKH Network, I'd like to request just the last thing. We want to capture this fantastic moment with you. So
photo.
Photo.
Right, okay.
So I'd like to request everyone to switch on your video and take this take the part of this amazing memory. Please, everyone, please switch on the video.
Let's just come forward and have a photo, and then
Yes.
thumbs up to our guest for his time and effort and contributing to the community.
Absolutely.
So
Everyone, please switch on your video as soon as possible, as our guest is waiting.
thanks, thank you. Let's do it quick. And thanks everybody watching, those are watching on the Facebook. You guys are amazing. You know, it means a lot for your support and dedication and contribution.
Okay, guys, let's show it thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well done. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay healthy. Everybody watching.
Take care, everyone.
Take
It was
care.
great
See you
to
tomorrow.
see you.